Hi guys, welcome to the video. So today I've got the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra together with me on the right hand side, and on the left hand side I've got my beloved Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus here, which I've been using for almost 4 years now. So I bought this one here a few weeks ago, and as you can see they look pretty much the same design wise, and feature wise they are also almost the same. So they basically, this one here is a Galaxy S device, but it has the features of a Samsung Galaxy Note phone. So this one here is actually a Note phone, and this one here is a S phone, which actually is in the body of a Samsung Galaxy Note device. And they are basically two devices with the same features, and there's a 4-year gap between these two phones. So this one here got launched in 2019, while this one here got launched a few months ago in 2023. And that's also the reason why it's called S23. It's basically because it got launched in 2023. All right, so today we're going to make a comparison video between these two phones. So design-wise, you can see it from the beginning. They look quite similar to each other, but there are some differences. So there are some points where the Note 10 Plus is even better than the S23 Ultra, and we are going to discuss whether you should consider upgrading your Note 10 Plus to a S23 Ultra or not. So let's get started. Alright guys, so as I've told you already, these two phones are phones of the same category. So they both feature an S Pen, and they both have got big screens, so they are made for creative people. So the screen of this phone here is a little bit bigger than the one on this one here, but this doesn't make a big difference, to be honest, and it's just a small difference between these two phones. But the biggest difference, of course, is the 4-year gap between these phones. And therefore, the lifespan of this phone here is about to find an end, because it runs Android 12, and it will get 6 months of security updates from now on, and then it will basically die in terms of software updates. While this one here, on the other hand side, comes together with Android 13 out of the box, and it will get 4 Android upgrades, which is quite great. So it will get updated until Android 17. So 4 Android upgrades and 1 extra year of security updates. So this phone here will always remain on Android 12, while this one here will find its way to Android 17. So this is the biggest difference which you need to consider. This phone won't get updated anymore. Of course, you can download some ROMs from some custom ROMs which feature Android 13, Android 14, probably even later on. But the biggest problem is that if you install a custom ROM, you probably won't be able to do any security things on your phone. So you won't be able to pay with your phone and all that, or you probably even won't be able to use your online banking and all that important stuff. So this will not be possible anymore. And the biggest problem is that you will lose your S Pen features if you install a non-One UI ROM. So this phone here, I would stay on One UI just because of the S Pen features. So stay on Android 12. It is not bad. It is one of the best Android versions I've ever seen, but you won't see anything else than Android 12 anymore. This is the biggest difference, but it doesn't make a big. It doesn't. If it does matter you can definitely upgrade to the S23 Ultra. But if you don't care at all, so this won't be a big difference for you. And also, performance-wise, this phone here is newer, and therefore it will have a better performance. The same goes for the battery. So this phone here launched 4 years ago, and I'm pretty sure that your Note 10 Plus is quite old right now, and therefore it won't have a great battery life anymore. But I'm pretty sure that most of you will still get 1 day out of the battery, while this phone here can get up to 2 days of battery life, which is amazing. But the thing is, if you are someone who is like phone addicted, you won't get 2 full days together with this phone, and you won't get 2 days or 1.5 days with this phone. So You may get 1.5 days together with this phone if you are really phone addicted, but at the second day you still need to charge up your phone. And on this one here, you will also need to charge up your phone on the second day. So there is not a big difference if you um, you know, if you are really phone addicted, so you always need to charge up your phone quite often, and this won't make a big difference to you. Um, but if you are an average guy, then you may get 2 days out of this phone here, which is amazing, and this would be a really big difference. So if you are not using your phone that often, you may get 2 days of battery life out of this phone, and if you like that, you can go for the S23 Ultra now. All right, so there are also different things which get better with time, with new phone releases, and this is the camera. So the camera of this phone here is amazing. So it makes really great shots, especially the zoom feature of this camera is amazing. So this one here has got a 2 times optical zoom, while this one here has got a 3 times optical zoom, as well as a 10 times optical zoom, and it's really useful. So there are a lot of people who say like the 10 times optical zoom is not that necessary on a phone, but I actually think quite different, since I mean, if you've got bad eyes, for example, and if you can't see things which are far away, you can use your phone to zoom in and see what's there. And that's basically the reason why I actually think that the 10 times optical zoom isn't that useless as the people say. And there are also enough situations where you can't actually get close enough to the object you want to take a photo of. And then the 10 times optical zoom does its job pretty well. And there's also this AI thing. So if you take pictures of people who are basically quite far away, the phone will take the picture and it will also apply some AI stuff on it to make it look a bit more realistic, and it does its job really, really great. So um, the image processing is really amazing on this phone here. This phone here, of course, also had image processing back then in 2019, but it wasn't that crazy as it is on this phone here now. So if you really care about the camera, go for this one here, since this one here has got way, way, way better cameras. And also, I mean, the 200 megapixel camera on the back of this phone takes really, really great shots, and you cannot even compare it to the Note 10 Plus, unfortunately. All right, so we've talked about some standard stuff like the battery, like the camera, like the performance, and all that. But now let's talk about the things which make these phones special. And the biggest feature on these two phones is the S Pen. So the S Pen is located on the right hand side on the Note 10 Plus, while it is located on the left hand side on the Note 10 Plus. So the placement of the S Pen in the Note 10 Plus is a bit more convenient, as there are way more people who which are right-handed. But Samsung was basically forced to put the S Pen on the left-hand side just because of the camera module. So as you can see, it's really big, and there's no space for the S Pen here. Here on the Note 10 Plus, you can see the camera module is quite small here, and there's enough space to fit in the S Pen. So now let us take a look at the S Pen. Oops. So this here is the S Pen of the Note 10 Plus, and this here is the S Pen of the S23 Ultra. They look quite similar to each other in size, so you can actually take the Note 10 Plus S Pen and fit it inside of the S23 Ultra, but you can see that there's, let me focus, you can see that there's a small gap then between the phone and the S Pen because of the top of the S Pen. I mean, you can see the top of the S23's S Pen is a bit bigger than the one of the Note 10 Plus. And yeah, feature-wise, they are quite similar. So you have got your air actions, you can take photos with a remote shutter here, and you can also use this S Pen as a normal remote control. For example, if you have got some PowerPoint presentations and all that, you can use this S Pen to change between your slides, and they've got the same features. But the biggest problem here is that this S Pen here is really expensive. Um, and you may ask me now, why does this actually matter, since we've got the S Pen inside of the box? And it does matter. The reason is the tip here. So the tip of the S Pen of the Note 10 Plus is replaceable. So you can take out the tip and replace it with another if the tip breaks, for example. On this one here, it's basically not possible. So you need to buy a new phone, not a new phone, but you need to buy a new S Pen if your tip breaks. And this is expensive, and it's gonna cost you around 60 bucks. You can also go for the Note 10 Plus S Pen, and as you can see, it does fit on the S23 Ultra, although there is a small gap between the phone and the S Pen, but it does fit and it works quite well here. And yeah, so if you break the tip of your S Pen on the on the S23 Ultra, this is going to be a big problem, and it is, I mean, it really breaks. So I broke the tip of my S Pen on the Note 10 Plus twice, and even if you take care of your S Pen, this can still happen. And yeah, therefore, be careful with your S Pen. All right, so now let us talk about the next small special feature of the Samsung Galaxy Note series, and that's the boxy design. So there's a reason why I'm talking about this, since I mean the design, they look quite similar from the front. From the back, of course, every phone looks quite different from the back, but from the front they've got the same design, or you may think that they've got the same design. So the biggest difference is basically the thickness. You can see the Note 10 is way thinner than the S23 Ultra, and it's not only the thickness, but also the weight. So this one here weighs a lot compared to this one here, and this actually annoyed me a lot when I switched from this phone to this one here, since it's a really big difference. This one here feels really thin, and if you're holding this phone on your hand, in your hands, it feels like you're holding a display with a small body. On this one here, you can really feel that you're holding a display together with a thick body. And that's a huge, I mean, this was a huge problem for me, so now I've got used to it, but it will take some time until you get used to it. This one here is heavy, and you will feel this phone in your pocket. You will feel the difference in your pocket, and you will also feel the difference if you are using cases together with your phone, because the case will make your phone even thicker. So I have to say that if I take my case of my Note 10 Plus, the phone feels almost the same like this one here. I mean, this one is still heavier than this one, even with the case on, but from the thickness or from the feeling, this one here feels the same as this one now without a case. And this is really something which you need, which takes time to get used to it. And if you haven't got a problem with that, I mean, you can try it out and then see if it's okay for you or not. Everybody has got their own opinions on that, so I can't tell you anything, I can't say anything, and I can't make you a decision depending on that, but this is definitely something which you need to try out by yourself. Yeah, so these are the biggest differences between these two phones, in my opinion. Of course, there are still some other differences, like the 120 Hz refresh rate on the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. But if you aren't used to 120 Hz, then this one here is fine as well. So the 120 Hz refresh rate definitely feels great on the S23 Ultra, but I mean, if you haven't used the 120 Hz refresh rate on the S23 Ultra or on any other phone, then you won't actually notice the difference to a 60 Hz refresh rate on the Note 10 Plus here on the left hand side. So this one here feels great until you try out this one here. And if you are using this one, then I don't think that you have already tried 120 Hz refresh rate in your daily usage. Then there is no reason. I mean, I don't see any reason to change your phone just for the 120 Hz refresh rate. And all new phones or all new flagships which get released right now, they all come together with a 120 Hz refresh rate. Therefore, it's a nice to have, but it's not something really important. Another difference between these two phones, a small difference, is the fingerprint reader. The fingerprint reader on the S23 Ultra is a bit bigger than the one which is present on the Note 10 Plus. It definitely makes it makes life easier when it comes to unlocking your phone. So this one here does unlock quite fast. So that's it. And on this one here, you sometimes need to concentrate to unlock your phone. But this is also a small difference. Another small difference is the SD card. So this one here has got an SD card slot here, while this one here doesn't. So this is an advantage for the Note 10 Plus. And another small advantage is that this phone here always comes with this one here comes with 20 gigs of RAM. No matter which version you pick, you will always get 12 gigs of RAM. And on this one here, you only get the 12 gigs of RAM if you go for the 500 gigs version. So this one here has got less RAM if you go for the 250 gigs model. But something which you need to keep in mind is that the RAM on this one here is faster than the RAM which is here. So this won't make any difference at all. Yeah, so that's it actually. So these are all the important differences. If you've got any questions, you can ask them below in the comment section. And yeah, peace out.